both my parents passed away. How much more did I need to know? I was overweight. I was a social smoker. I was drinking once or twice a week, maybe heavily once a week. I was 3-4 stone overweight. I was sitting down on my hoop all day because I work in radio.
Yeah.
Coming in at 1, leaving at 10, going home, having something to eat, going straight to bed. So like I was doing everything wrong, and I knew these things, and yet still, when I had the heart attack, I was like, oh my God,
I'm having a heart
what's
attack.
up with that? My heart had packed its bags, and the taxi was outside. And only that, through action of my own, and the expertise and the brilliance of the HSC and the paramedics and the doctors and the nurses, am I still here? So this is my purpose now for a while, is to make sure that even if one person listening here or saw that tweet or saw me on television talking about this, gets themselves looked at. Because of all the doom and gloom that we've mentioned, 1 in 4 women or people in Ireland, it's endemic in Ireland. And we all talk about cancers and of course we should, but heart disease is more deadly in this country than anything else.
Yeah.
And I think the Irish attitude towards that does not help, because Irish people have a tendency to go, it's grand. Do you know what? It's fine. I'll just leave it. Sure, I can't be paying 60 euro for that, because for God's sake, will you stop? And you're going, pay the 60 quid, or if you can get it, you're on a medical card, just go get yourself checked out. Because as I say, if there's nothing wrong with you,
Then you know.
isn't it better to know? And if they spot something, then they can fix it. Like, I'm fine now. I've got to watch my diet, and but the thing is, all the doom and gloom, the most positive thing really, and the most shocking really at the same time, is that 80% of people who suffer from cardiovascular disease, or who indeed die from it, 80% of that is preventable.
Wow.
It's in our own hands. It's lifestyle choices, it's drinking, obviously it's smoking, it's your weight, it's exercise. Obviously the genetic stuff you can't do
Really
anything
control,
about that.
yeah.
But even with that, if you're aware of that, which I should have been, and I was, and I'm typical, I'm now hopefully going to be a poster boy to prevent people from sweeping it under the carpet.
Did any part of you think that you were just like panicking because you were on the lash?
I just felt it was a little bit of anxiety. I honestly thought it was a little bit of a panic, because it was kind of a mad flutter, an intense flutter in my chest.
Yeah.
But then as it worsened, and I felt like I needed to vomit, I was trying to vomit up. It was like I needed a release valve into my chest. Go.
Yeah.
So for me, it was very much like I was getting hugged
Okay.
by a bear.
Your
And
heart or your whole body?
From my shoulders in.
Okay.
And across my chest into my throat a bit. And it genuinely felt like indigestion. And I think, but it wasn't that cinematically dramatic.
So were you short of breath?
Short, a little bit short of breath. It's kind of almost if the moment you feel after you get a massive fright.
Okay.
When you're watching a horror movie and you kind of go, "Ugh!" And that kind of mad tightness across your.
Did you feel like your heart was beating fast, or?
I felt it felt like a clenched fist.
Right.
And I felt it was under some pressure, yes. But again, I was chatting away to the paramedics, and I think my brain kicked into kind of protective mode. Keep it cool, keep it calm, because I could see in their faces that it was quite serious. I think the only thing I did know was to ring
the doctor.
as soon as I could, and I did, because the longer you leave it, the worse it's going to be for you. And they were down, and they got me up. I was in James's, I think, from the phone call to being in James's about an hour.
Wow.
An hour and 10, 15 minutes.
And this is from Electric Picnic.
This is from Laois. So, and thankfully the roads were quiet. They whisked me in, they're waiting for me in there. And I had the 2 stents put in. It was only afterwards it was explained to me.
And what did they explain to you?
Well, basically, your heart is gripped by like fingers of arteries, like you would like a basketball from the top down. And the main one to the left, that kind of services the front of your heart, and the bottom left was like 90% blocked.
Wow.
And I only discovered this last week when I went into my consultant, and consultants have a beautiful way of delivering the most horrendous news with a beautiful smile and a calm voice. He goes, he's an Englishman, lovely fella. He goes, well, Ed, what you had is what we call in the business a widowmaker. But anyway, here we are. And I'm like, oh. And so, yeah, like I was nearly there. But you've got to take care of your heart as well as your head. But really and truly, if 80% of this is preventable, just stop for 10 minutes today. Have a think about how you live your life. Is there anything, if you smoke, stop. Just stop it. There's no such thing as you're either a smoker or you're not. I was explaining it away going, I shall have a few on a Friday night with my pals. Can I have one? And then I'll smoke. And then that could be 7 or 8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
And then if you do that twice a week, I don't really smoke, but sure I'll have, sure I'll buy a box and then that'll last me for the week. Or, you're still a smoker.
Yeah.
Every cigarette you smoke, and I hate to be this guy, but I have to be, every cigarette you smoke is putting a minuscule layer of death into your arteries. Every single one. Just think you smoke one and you go for a jog, it doesn't make the difference. If you're thinking about smoking, do it whichever way you can. And if you need to lose weight, there's loads of ways. Eat healthily. Just small changes. I'm not asking you to do much, but small changes, and give your heart the best possible chance it needs.
I have to admit, Ed, that myself and Dave got such a fright. We went and had our hearts checked.
Yeah,
No, and
which
I
is
said
great,
that to you.
which is
Like,
good.
I did.
Yeah,
It was you that inspired me, because look, again, we're men in our 40s, and it is one of the biggest killers. And you having your experience, I just said to myself exactly what you said, which was like, if I just know, like if there's something wrong,
it's not that invasive either. You just
we can go and get it fixed.
Get your cholesterol done.
So did a thing called a coronary angiogram, where they inject you with a bit of ink and stick you in a CT scan. I have to say, I found the CT scanner quite calming. I think, Dermot, you found it quite unnerving, but I could have fallen asleep in there. But literally it took 10 minutes and you were done. And then about a week later you get your results, and you can, and thankfully I think we're both all right.
Yeah.
Everything worked out
I'm
okay.
still waiting on mine.
He's away. Right.
Yeah.
I've had to go to Zurich to get Dermot's.
It's kind of like the election. Like the results aren't in, but it's looking promising.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm typical of Irish people, really. I'll be grand.
Yeah.
It's fine. Listen, I'd rather not know. Sure, if I don't know, you know what I mean? I'm not worried about it. Stop it. Grow up. Go to the doctor. Have yourself checked. And if the doctor sees anything, needs a little bit further investigation, get it done. Get it sorted.
Yeah.
80% of this, the people listening today who are going to suffer from cardiovascular disease and maybe death, 80% of those listening don't have to go through what I have done.
Yeah.
So just have a think, make a few changes, and again, if you're a smoker, stop.
It always amazes me how we tend to put more care into our cars than we do to ourselves.
If you heard a little rattle in your car, you'd spend 300 euros.
I better go and get that checked out. You can't leave that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Get never be too careful, just peace of mind. But when it comes to our bodies, we never
Or
do
your
it.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Oh, my Wi-Fi's down. Get them out, 500 quid, grand. Yeah.
Whatever it
As
costs.
you're clutching your chest.
GoRed.ie is the place to go and donate if you can to help.
And Google heart conditions.
Oh, the Wi-Fi's down.
Listen to Ed every day, 7 o'clock on Today FM. Ed Smith, thank you very much.
No problem.
It's Dermot and Dave on Today.